Let's begin with education. The House of Representatives Committee on Basic Education and Examination Bodies has summoned the West African Examinations Council to explain several concerns regarding delays and irregularities during the ongoing senior school certificate examinations. The committee has directed WAEC officials to appear before it on Friday. The 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination began on April 24 and is expected to end on June 20. However, the English language paper, originally scheduled for May 28, was held several hours late in numerous centers nationwide, leading to late-night sittings and widespread frustration among candidates and their families. To discuss this, we're joined by a legal practitioner and an education advocate, Evans Ufeli. Thank you so much, Mr. Ufeli, for joining us on the news.
Very well.
So first JAM, now WAEC. Has it always been like this with the conduct of examinations in Nigeria, or are we at an all-time low?
We're at an all-time low. This is actually the lowest, we're at the lowest ebb of this whole situation. When JAM broke out with its own irregularities, we thought that perhaps it's just going to be one out of a case that will not repeat itself. But the current ongoing with WAEC, wherein they have failed to work on their logistic balance to ensure that the students get the best and get the value out of the process. It's one that is troubling because when you look at it, WAEC have custodian centers. There are custodian centers that are not very far from the centers where the students write these exams. So sometimes you have a custodian center in a particular city, and you have all the schools that are approved to write WAEC spread around that particular city. So why they had to write the English language exam in the night in some centers is one that beats the mind, because WAEC ought to know that an examination like that, English language, is general, okay? So they ought to have started early if the timetable was well prepared to ensure that they have the latitude of time within the 12 hours space before nightfall. Okay, they ought to have prepared very well. But in a situation where most of these schools do not even have power supply, many of them don't have electricity. The few that have electricity, sometimes they have issues with either the PACN and all that, and many of them don't have power. And you conduct such an exam in the night where they now use candle and torchlight and all that. Then you are giving latitude for examination malpractice, because people will have to use their phones, the torchlight on their phones, or to find light anywhere. And the process of that, you would have lost essence of the exam itself. So what we have here is a crisis in our hands. Not only that there is falling standard of education, there's also a falling standard in preparing students for these exams. And the institutions who are supposed to be savvy with these responsibilities to ensure that we have proper conduct of these examinations are having a lot of issues.
Well,
issues that are avoidable.
Well, in its defense, WAEC said its focus on curbing question leakage unintentionally led to logistical setbacks. To you, do you think that's a tenable excuse?
I don't think it's a tenable excuse, because even that day of the English language, when they wrote it very late, the exams, as at the time they were preparing and moving the papers from one location to another, the exam had already leaked. I mean, so many persons have already seen it some other places. Because since they didn't start early, in those places where they started very late in the midnight, they had started in other places, for which, whilst other centers have not started, some other centers have started. And so the students in the center that have not started have seen the papers, which are circulated in areas that have started. So they need to do it in such a way that across the country, they have to start at the same time. Because the moment you have 1 hour gap, it's a question of scanning the paper, scanning the question papers and transmit it to other location, and then people will begin to, work out the answers before they are called into the examination hall. So that imbalance, they have to watch, they have to look at it. WAEC has been in existence for so many years. It cannot say it is because of the lack of experience or the lack of logistical formation or any other excuse.
Okay.
Why cannot give an excuse? Why have been there for so long, from the 60s or the 70s? I mean, what kind of excuse are they going to give? Is it population? Is it that they don't have the question papers again, or they cannot print it?
Now,
or what exactly is the excuse they want to give in this case?
Now, Evans, just as you're expressing your concerns, a lot of Nigerians are also in that shoe. We usually experience late arrival of materials at polling units during elections too. I mean, you would agree with me. So does it mean that government institutions are just incompetent? Or should it be, should these institutions be given to maybe a private firm to get this job done, or what?
Well, largely they involve private hands. For WAEC, private schools and teachers, okay, are largely involved in this case. So private hands are already involved. I mean, even the transportation of the materials, they had to use, okay, private hands to do it. But the arrangement with those private hands matters. Even when the 2019 election, for example, the contract for the movement of the ballot boxes and the ballot election materials, we had the same issue. Okay, in 2019, you have the same issue. So it's a problem, a nationwide problem. And I don't know why WAEC is not government-owned per se.
So to speak, yes.
The West African Examination Council, yes. So it shouldn't be burdened with the same problem that you have with government institutions that are full of technical bottlenecks and incompetence, red tapeism and the rest of that. Shouldn't be seen in a body like WAEC that is preparing students for exam. So what kind of question are they setting for the students to write? If they cannot plan and organize the conduct of the exam, it therefore means that the question they are asking the students, we have to look into those questions, whether it truly reflects, I mean, whether such questions and examination can truly equip our students to access tertiary education. Because it's clear now that from this year's conduct, that they really do not have a proper organized process of making this thing work. Is it a new leadership or what? Because WAEC have been there and they've have successive leaders. Okay, so perhaps the new hands, we need to consult the old hands. If the problem is coming from within, if it's coming from the external face, they must do a proper scanning of the problem and then go back to the drawing board and see what they can do to ensure that you don't organize such exams in the night. When you have daylight, why can't you take advantage of the daylight? Why night for? Because in the night, a lot of things can go wrong. I mean, we actually also thought of how the students will be able to get back home. And these are children between 14 to 16 years, okay? So while we are looking at the logistical issue, we also need to look at it from the standpoint of the students to their safety, okay? And all that. So that is why I think perhaps WAEC alone cannot do this. There's a need for WAEC to have, a meeting with parents, okay, with other bodies, so that they can fashion out the best way to have this exam conducted. If they have to go online, they have to just look for a way to put it right. Because this is 2025. We should be advancing in technology and the rest of that. But it's shameful that this day and age, we see videos of students writing exam flying all over the internet in the dead of the night. with Lenta and the rest of that. It looks like we're not serious people at all.
Okay.
We're not a serious people at all. But we should be able to organize an exam. The fact that we have failed in our electoral system does not mean we should transmit the same to exam again.
Well,
so when are we going to get anything right in this country now? Now we're failing anyhow like this.
I hope we get it right. I don't think we have situations like this in other African countries in such conducts. But then, Evan Sufeli, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.
My pleasure.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives Constitution Review Committee is set to meet with the Nigerian Governors Forum on July 23, 2025, as part of its efforts to build consensus and secure support for key constitutional amendment bills currently under consideration. The committee will also hold a joint retreat with the speakers of the 36 state houses of assembly and members of the Senate Constitution Review Committee. The goal is to align positions and ensure uniformity in the proposed amendments across the country. In a bid to promote public awareness and transparency, the committee will engage media stakeholders, including the Nigerian Guild of Editors, the Nigeria Union of Journalists, and the Nigerian Broadcasters Association, as well as civil society organizations. Now head to Edo State, where Governor Monday Okpebholo of Edo State has taken to the streets to celebrate his appeal court victory, affirming his election mandate. The judgment delivered in Abuja saw a 3-member panel of justices dismiss the petition filed by Asue Godalo, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the September 21, 2024 governorship election. The appellate court upheld the earlier decision of the election tribunal, which had ruled in favor of Governor Okpebholo. Still in Edo State, but now talking insecurity, Governor Monday Okpebholo has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to eradicating cultism, kidnapping, and other crimes. Speaking at a youth interactive session in Benin, the governor declared that all security bodies must collaborate to eradicate cultism and related crimes. He warned that hideouts linked to kidnappers will be demolished and urged residents to report crimes and criminal elements. Youth leaders and police representatives praised the governor's bold approach while calling for accountability among law enforcement agencies and officers.
Edo State is our state. We need to join hands to build Edo together. The only way we can do that is to cooperate with the police, the army, the EFCC, the civil defense, the drug enforcement agencies. The issue of cultism and the issue of kidnapping, I'm going to fight to make sure that every Edo child, every Edo man, every Edo woman is safe. Because I'm a hard man, from cultism, from doing that cultism, they can go into kidnapping, they can commit any sort of crime. So we must fight them. We must fight that issue of cultism. We cannot stay away from it. If that is only my achievement in Edo State, I will raise up my hand.
Let's head to Rivers State, where suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara has confirmed that peace and reconciliation efforts are currently underway to reinstate all suspended executive and legislative officers in the state, including mending ties with his political godfather, Nyesom Wike. Speaking at a meeting with party leaders and supporters as part of events marking his years in office, Fubara called on Rivers people to appreciate President Bola Tinubu for his intervention, which helped prevent the political crisis in the state from escalating further. He also appealed for understanding and forgiveness from those who may have been disappointed in how he managed the crisis that led to his suspension. But I'll go on our break. When we return, Umahia residents reject sit-at-home directive issued by non-state actors. We will tell you more in a short while. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us. We now turn our attention to infrastructure development as we continue our assessment of President Bola Tinubu's achievements in years, with the federal government saying it has flagged off 65 new major projects and 4 legacy road projects within this period. In this report by Joshua Marayi, News Central takes a look at what the administration has put in place with regards to infrastructure.
On May 29, 2023, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu assumed office, inheriting a nation burdened with thousands of unfinished infrastructure projects. 2 years after, the administration reports progress, but how much of it is felt on the ground?
According to Works Minister David Umahi, the Tinubu administration inherited 2,604 major road projects valued at 13 trillion naira, with 1 trillion naira owed to contractors for completed works. The backlog has affected national spending, increasing recurrent allocations for previously budgeted projects.
When we did rule of the term at that time and projected by the reason of removal of fuel subsidy and floating of the naira, the project then came to about 17 to 18 trillion. And today, projecting that is about 20 trillion. But by the ingenuity of Mr. President, fate directed that we should prioritize these inherited projects along the geopolitical zone and along the national economic corridors. And we came up with a total of 440 projects.
We should be worried because a lot of successive administrations have, embarked on what many have called white elephant projects. And that's why you embark on a project of, say, 10 trillion, whereas you have an envelope budgeting system that may likely, for the life of the administration of 4 years, you might not even be able to allocate 2 trillion to that project. That's why some people call it white elephant projects.
I think the existing procurement law needs to be reviewed. If I have my way to say, I will make further recommendations. It may sound drastic, but I think it could work. If you don't have the food fund to pay for a job, don't award it. I don't understand why Minister A will come and award his jobs he likes and pay the 15% and further payment. And when he leaves, the next man that comes, he says, okay, it was given by Minister A, I'm not touching it, I'm not paying it, they will abandon it.
The administration has also flagged off 4 legacy road projects, namely the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway, the Calabar-Abuja Superhighway, and the Akwanga-Benue-Lokoja Superhighway. The 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, which broke ground in March 2024, has generated mixed reaction.
If I'm the president, will I engage in that services? Hell no, I will not. Not a possibility for me if I'm a president. First and foremost, you look at what we would generally call economic infrastructure, and you'll be able to determine the most one that is very pressing on Nigeria today. I would rather take port infrastructure as most pressing economic infrastructure in Nigeria, not that superhighway.
Many people review that the amount of resources on that road could perhaps help to complete some major federal roads that interconnect in a more strategic sense. And maybe when you're done with those, then you do this other big infrastructure that has maybe long-term economic value. But in the short to medium term, you deal with those infrastructural projects that make quick return to GDP growth, and of course help with income and more dimensional poverty in rural communities.
In addition, 260 palliative projects worth 208 billion naira have been executed, ranging from road resurfacing to emergency bridge repairs. But concerns remain over the country's poor maintenance culture. A recent example is the closure of the Independence Bridge in Lagos, which caused major disruption. Meanwhile, senators from the southeast have kicked against the apparent exclusion of the region from key federal development projects. The latest being the irrigation project under the 2025 Appropriation Act. On May 22nd, Senator Kenneth Eze, representing Ebonyi Central, lamented that no funds were allocated to the Southeast out of the 380 billion naira set aside in the 2025 budget.
Observe that although the intention of the project is national, the actual implementation plan are designed excluded Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority.
However, opinions are mixed. While some welcome the interventions, others question the speed, scope, and sustainability of the projects. Concerns persist over road quality, congestions, and delayed timelines.
President Tinubu's second year shows strides in infrastructure, but beyond the numbers, the real challenge is completing this project and avoiding yet another pile of abandoned works. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
Well, earlier on the news, we told you about the celebration of the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebholo, after it was declared by the Court of Appeal that he is rightfully the winner of the Guber election in September 21, 2024, when he contested with the PDP candidate, Asue Ighodalo. And now we have our correspondent, Israel Ferobo, who is on ground in Edo State, to give us more details about, well, the celebration. Ife, good afternoon to you, or Israel, let me just say, because I'm used to that. Thank you so much for joining us at this time. Tell us what the situation is like with the governor, the celebration, and this latest court ruling.
Okay, good afternoon, and I can barely hear you, Joe, but I think you're asking me about what the latest like here in Edo State. The appeal court, the Court of Appeal upheld the election of Governor Monday Okpebholo yesterday in Abuja. Well, here in Edo State, it's been a jubilant mood for everyone that I've spoken to today. It's been victory parties, victory songs. There was even a parade today, which the governor himself was part of. I took off from his residence here in GRA and all the way to some popular sites in the city, particularly Ring Road, where he converged his supporters. He addressed them as well. And for the people I was able to speak with, they were really in a jubilant mood, all saying that he deserved the victory and that this is exactly what Edo people voted for, and this is what they are indeed getting.
So as the PDP and its Guber candidate, Asue Ighodalo, have they responded to these latest developments?
Oh, yes, indeed. The People's Democratic Party and its candidate, Asue Ighodalo, they did say yesterday that they will, and into the wee hours of today as well, that they will contest this ruling by the Court of Appeal, and saying that this is not what they want, and the decision of the Court of Appeal is not the final one. They will, like they have said, proceed to the Supreme Court to find out to seek redress and state their case again. Remember that they say that they indeed saw that there were a lot of electoral matters that were misplaced, irregularities as well, the issue of overvoting as well. These were cases that the PDP and its candidates in the elections, Asue Ighodalo, they put forward before the tribunal here in Edo State, later Abuja, and also the Court of Appeal. And indeed, those two, the tribunal and the Court of Appeal, went ahead to strike out the case for lacking merit, and the fact that they relied strictly only on witnesses and not facts. And this is the situation right now. They are saying that they are not satisfied with the decision of the Court of Appeal, that they will go ahead. They will go ahead and proceed to the Supreme Court. But some of the people that we spoke to earlier today, they were just saying that as concerned citizens here in Edo State, they were of the opinion that the PDP candidate, Asue Ighodalo, should just concede and let development here in Edo State just continue, that they love exactly what is being done here today. Leko?
Okay, so I'll come back to you, Israel. Just stay with us for a while. I want to take the video excerpt where we saw supporters actually react and jubilate over this latest ruling.
Monday Okpebholo just collect his victory from the Supreme Court. So we are very excited. The victory is continue, and we are seeing his massive work everywhere. So we are very happy. That's why the loud crowd came out to come and celebrate with him.
I feel better. I feel great. I feel so high. I appreciate my party. I appreciate the force we are carrying in Edo State to make sure APC succeed. Come 2027, we are for Asiwaju. APC is ready to deliver Tinubu in this state.
I really want to thank God for giving us victory in this appeal court. In fact, what the man is doing in Edo State gives us joy. We are all excited. We are happy. Just few months ago, he became the governor. We can see the handwork of Okpebholo all over the state. Look at Ibobahi there. The flyover work is going on speedily, and we are happy about it.
And that's some APC supporters expressing appreciation over the latest court ruling upholding winning of that particular election by the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo. But then, Israel, if you are still there, I'd like to find out, it's been about 7 months now since Monday Okpebholo became the Edo State governor. This happiness exuding from the supporters, is it a reflection of how people, the generality of the people in Edo are right now as regards his administration and this ruling?
Well, like, one thing I can say to you is that the people of Edo State are, at this point in time, they are happy. And since we got to the town yesterday, it's been a people who are indeed united to see the governor going from place to place, monitoring projects, and indeed just being a man of the people. I spoke just the people you saw there earlier. When I spoke to them, they were indeed excited. Like we saw in that video, it is indeed a reflection of what is on the ground here today. So when we were with the governor today, when he was going around for his victory parade, it was just indeed a moment where he was able to say thank you to the people of Edo State. He was just going about and calling all the names of local government areas who supported him. Indeed, the entirety of Edo State generally, they were just out there supporting him and saying all sort of good stuff about the governor. One thing that caught my attention was what a supporter did say. Now, I wouldn't even say supporter, an ordinary citizen of Edo State, a resident, he was saying to me that a significant move by this governor, what appeals more with the people is the fact that he's very, very humble and he's a man of the people. You see him going from place to place, interacting with people, and indeed, that's exactly what is on the ground here in Edo State. How this will pan out all the way to 2027, we do not know. But for now, Edo State is peaceful. The people of Edo State have spoken. The Court of Appeal have upheld the election of Monday Okpebholo, Governor Monday Okpebholo, and we'll see how this all pans out. If it the PDP goes ahead to take this case all the way to the court.
Thank you so much, Israel Eferable, for bringing us the updates. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
And you too. Away from that, once again, the southeast of Nigeria came to a standstill on Friday, May 30, 2025, as residents observed the sit-at-home order declared by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra in Umuahia, the Abia state capital. Only skeletal commercial and public activities were seen. News Central's Chinwe Ogele reports.
Major roads and streets in Umuahia are largely deserted, with only a few vehicles seen moving. Markets, shops and commercial banks all remain shut, and transport hubs empty. Tricycle operators expressed disappointment over the lack of passengers.
It affects everybody, everywhere is dry, so we are observing it. There is no passengers on the road, everybody is sitting at home.
The thing is not moving as it normally used to be. Everywhere is just very somehow shadow. We are seeing it In fact, we will not meet to our expectation today as I'm seeing it this morning.
Before now, you would see traders and buyers milling around this place. You could barely find a space to walk through in this market. But today, the story is different. Frustration also loomed for some residents like Chimeze Godwin, who can't purchase food items for the day.
Because I came to buy some foodstuffs and the people I used to buy from, I can't even find them. Definitely, I'm still going back to my house and maybe look for akara and pap and take.
Many residents condemned the stay-at-home directive and called for its immediate end.
So I don't think that they sit at home, that people should stay at home, and in any day that they say that people should sit at home.
For tricycle operator Joseph Okori, the solution lies with the federal government. He believes only decisive action can bring an end to the recurring order.
The problem is in their hands to solve. They know what they are doing. If they solve the problem now, there will be no sit at home again.
Meanwhile, security operatives are seen patrolling parts of the state capital as the few people out on the streets remain on high alert. There is no gainsaying the fact that the people of the zone are already exhibiting signs of exhaustion from the series of stay-at-home orders. Hopefully someday the people of the zone will be able to still move about without fear of having anyone disrupt their activities because they do not understand the essence of the many stay-at-homes. In Omaha for News Central, Chinwe Ugebe.
You're watching the news on News Central Television. We'll bring you more security-related stories, but I'll be after this time out. So stay with us. We'll be back. As Nigeria continues to grapple with a rising insecurity and worsening economic hardship, a new survey by NOI polls is shedding light on the deepening fears among citizens and the growing distrust in formal security institutions. News Central's Edo Joseph tells us more.
Nigeria, the fear of abduction is no longer a distant concern. It's fast becoming a lived reality for many, with new data to back it up. 19%. Fresh findings by NOI polls point to the troubling trend. Crime and insecurity, second only to economic hardship, now rank among the most pressing concerns for Nigerians.
Our key findings: crime and security at 31% is the second most important problem that Nigerians want the government to address. More than two-thirds, 69% of Nigerians say their country is not very safe, not at all safe compared to 5 years ago. More than 6 in 10 citizens, 63% says they felt unsafe at home or in their neighborhood at least once during the year leading to the survey.
Even more disturbing is the erosion of trust in formal security agencies. According to the survey, more citizens say they now trust traditional rulers over police or military institutions when it comes to reporting threats or incidents.
Increasingly, we can see in this country that people's loyalty to the state and to state institutions are completely gone. They are shifting this loyalty either to their ethnic groups, either to their traditional rulers. I think this is really something that the government should be aware.
Experts and civil society actors are urging the governments to prioritize people-centered reforms, especially in community policing and intelligence gathering. Many hope that these data will serve as a catalyst for meaningful reform.
Think of how we can package this, well, not package, as in how we can relay this information to policymakers so that we are certain that what Nigerians think is really taken into account when we do make our policies.
We are able to speak to government officials and those in authority to see dealing with insecurity concerns as equivalent to gaining political points for staying in office.
As millions of Nigerians continue to live under the shadow of fear, addressing insecurity and easing economic burden remain urgent tasks for the government at all levels. In Abuja for News Central, Edo Joseph.
The Lagos State government has signed a landmark agreement with a Ghanaian company to boost waste management and construct a transfer loading station at Olusosun. Through this new agreement, the state may well be on its way to addressing challenges with waste disposal, collection and processing, which has now become a major environmental burden. News Central's correspondent Bettina Nweli tells us more.
State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, this partnership is a bold step forward in efforts aimed at managing over 13,000 tons of waste generated daily in the states. With this partnership, a state-of-the-art transfer loading station will be constructed at Olusosun, serving as a central hub to redirect 2,500 tons of daily waste to a newly planned material recovery facility in Ikorodu. This will allow for permanent closure of Olusosun, a move that not only improves public health and safety, but also significantly reduces the environmental impact of open dumping.
Lagos State will have what it takes to ensure that the thousands and thousands of waste it generates every day now becomes useful, reusable, and properly disposed, so that we can have a more environmentally friendly environment, a more healthy friendly environment, and a more ecologically friendly environment.
In Igondo, the Solus-free dump site will also witness a major shift, with a new recovery facility planned for Badagry in a bid to relocating 1,500 tons of waste daily. A bold show of commitment to decentralizing and modernizing waste handling in Lagos, with an assurance of the project completion in 18 months.
We are trying to move the state from a linear waste system that has pervaded the state for decades to a more sustainable and a more environmentally friendly system that will take our waste and not just take them as waste, but see waste as a resource for wealth.
With at least 5,000 direct and indirect jobs expected to be generated, a whole new ecosystem is opening up around waste recovery and circular economy opportunities. From waste processing technicians to logistics and facility maintenance staff, this will also create employment opportunities, teaming youths in the states. For News Central, Bettina Nweli.
Coming up on the news, Rapid Support Forces shell El Obeid strike hospitals in Sudan. We'll tell you more and bring you the rest of the stories in a bit. Join us again. From other parts of Africa, we tell you that army sources and eyewitnesses say Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces shelled El Obeid on Friday, striking to hospitals and residential areas. The social insurance and army hospitals were hit during the bombardment of this key southern city, 400 kilometers from Khartoum. El Obeid, recently liberated from a 2-year RSF siege, is critical for the army's supply route to El Fasher, the last government-held city in Darfur. We also tell you that civil groups and citizens of Johannesburg took to the streets in protest, expressing their frustration over escalating issues facing the country, like the influx of illegal immigrants, high unemployment, and other economic challenges. News Central's Bongani Siziba tells us more in this report.
A protest has erupted in Johannesburg. Citizens from all walks of life are gathered, expressing their frustration over the escalating issues facing the country. Many of them present are carrying their CVs in hand, taking them to the legislature, hoping to be noticed by companies or employers. They say they have had enough of the high unemployment rate in the country that continues to worsen. They are also calling on the government to take urgent action. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
We are here because of people are suffering. And now it's time when we're saying enough is enough.
But as I'm telling you, you can see the unemployment rate. How much is it? If the youth would come out, all of them, trust me, you would cry yourself so that a lot of people are not working.
They blame the influx of illegal immigrants for taking up their jobs opportunities that should be reserved for South Africans, also pointing to widespread corruption and nepotism within the government as reasons behind the country's economic struggles.
This thing of having senior management as Zimbabweans or Nigerians must come to an end. This thing of us being sidelined and foreigners being put forward has to come to an end now. And we are not only here about employment, we are also here about the housing situation. We are very aware of the fact that all of our surrounding suburbs here, from Mayfair, Terfontein, Windsor West, are occupied by foreigners. Some of them own 70 houses each.
They also demand that the government address these issues head-on, and today they are calling on authorities to come to their rescue to create jobs, crack down on illegal immigrants, and root out corruption.
President, why are you so quiet? Why are you not looking at us? We South African, we are calling up on you, but he's not doing anything. We saw him responding to the when only 49 white Afrikaners go to USA. He responded, what about the millions of us South African? Is it because we're black? Or what is going on?
We are very poor. We're poverty-stricken where we come from, and we're capable of working. Imagine Motoato all the way from Limpopo to come and pick up papers in Soweto. It really does not make sense because that job is designed for locals.
This protest is a clear reflection of the growing discontent among South Africans who feel left behind in their own country. With unemployment at all-time high, official figures estimate it is above 30%. Many believe that urgent reforms are needed. In Johannesburg, for News Central, I am Bongani Sisiba.
And that's all at this hour, but then we look at our top stories before we go. House of Representatives has summoned WAEC over 2025 SSCE irregularities. Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has hailed President Bola Tinubu's role in restoring peace in the state. We also told you that rapid support forces have shelled El Obeid strike hospitals in Sudan. You can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Also watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, GoTV, channel 23, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onabanjo.